Welcome to day 50 of the 300 movie challenge. Today we watched the highest grossing film of July 1998, which was Armageddon. We come full circle with me because we started with Independence Day when I started announcing, which is an alien invasion movie, and now we have the aliens came and threw a giant asteroid at the Earth, and we ended up back in space. That's all I want to say right now. Let's talk about this disappointment.
I have one thing to say for now.
Go ahead.
Somehow Godzilla was better.
Yes.
Yeah. Somehow Godzilla had a more coherent plot than this.
And Godzilla did not have a coherent plot.
Yeah. But somehow, and that too, Godzilla somehow pales in comparison with the amount of, character scene changes, perspective changes.
Did we even know anyone's name? People died and we didn't know who they were at all.
I remember Bruce Willis was Harry Stamper, right?
Yeah.
Which sounds that literally sounds like a porn star name. The younger guy was AJ.
AJ.
Oh yeah, AJ, yeah.
Yeah.
Grace was the right
daughter.
Was it Grace? Yeah.
Yeah, it's Grace.
And then
there's just the Russian guy.
The Russian guy. I remember
with the really poor accent.
Yeah, his accent was so bad. The army guy who was in space was Captain something. I don't remember his name.
Yeah.
I know they said it, but I don't remember it. I know they said the mission control head person guy's name. I don't remember that. I know they said the main general guy, the black one who was in the Space Girl. I know they said his name. I don't remember that.
No.
I remember. The black guy who was part of the drilling team was nicknamed Bear. I remember that.
Oh, really? Okay.
I didn't even pick up.
Don't remember anything else. Yeah, no, but this was. Okay. This was a 2.5-hour movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it felt too long. But at the same time, it was somehow paced too quickly.
Yes. Okay. It felt like we watched 4 movies.
Wait. Let me just say something about the beginning of this film.
Okay.
So, we've watched other action-y movies and stuff and whatnot, and of course, as you would expect with Armageddon, there are explosions and stuff. Within the first 10 minutes of the film, there were explosions and asteroids raining down and something, and somehow NASA does not realize that this shower of asteroids would come and shower down upon us into New York City.
They said it was a humongous asteroid.
They said specifically the asteroid was the size of Texas.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit how little money NASA has. You would have seen that a long time ago.
Yeah.
It's just, and it's so, and yeah, the explosion thing. So again, pieces of the asteroid, small parts or whatever, fall early and they hit things or whatever. And when they hit the ground, there's a big ass explosion, and it's
that doesn't happen.
It's a rock hitting the ground. It doesn't explode. It's just, there's a crater and dirt flies up in the air or whatever, but it doesn't turn into a fireball. That doesn't happen.
It's not a nuke.
No, it's not a bomb.
And speaking of science, let's talk about the gravity in this movie.
Oh my God.
Before that, just to get into the visual effects about the explosions, as I mentioned, action movies, explosions, they come hand in hand, but the fact that there's an excessive amount of explosions in this movie...
Yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, it's a Michael Bay film.
No, even then, not only are there explosions everywhere, but people, don't die from them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's the weirdest thing. There's, fire, right next to the dude, and it's he's fine. And it's what? How did that happen?
Oh, there were so many scenes where people should have died, but they didn't.
Yeah, and for no reason. It's just he's alive, okay. Doesn't make any sense.
Gravity.
Yes, to the anti-gravity thing.
Jesus. So, gravity was just, normal Earth gravity for literally every scene, except the one scene where it was used as a plot device.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was literally it. On the asteroid, it was walking around like normal. On the spaceship, they were walking like normal, in the freaking Russian space station, whatever, that was orbiting the Earth. That should have been 0G. They were walking around. It was like, what? They even made a point earlier on where they were talking about, oh, the gravity's really weak, you gotta, like, use these thrusters to move or whatever, and then they were just walking everywhere on the asteroid, and they had, like, nothing to do with thrusters or anything, and it's like, what the fuck? It just doesn't work. And this is really basic shit. Like, okay, back to the scene where it was a plot device. The whole idea was that the gravity's weak, so there's this, like, they have this, like, vehicle thing, and they have to get across a canyon. So they're like, well, if we, gravity's weak, so if we, like, go really fast, we can, like, jump over the canyon, right? So they go really fast or whatever, and they're jumping up, but then, like, they misjudged or something, I don't even know what happened, and they, like, start, like, leaving the asteroid's gravity. They're, like, keep going higher, and they're like, oh shit, like, what's going on? Or they also, like, hit something, I don't know, anyway. And then they're like, oh, we have to turn the thrusters back on to put us back to put us back down. But I'm like, wait a minute, the thrusters are on the back of the thing. So if you turn on the thrusters, you're just going to push yourself forward faster, which means you're going to push yourself farther away from the asteroid. But no, they turn on the thrusters and then land back on the ground. What?
I don't know
how
that...
That's, like, the most basic shit. Like, it's just so frustrating because if you're making a film like this, you have to at least have someone who has, like, taken a high school physics class. Cough, cough, like what I'm teaching, and, like, it doesn't work. It's just so basic, so much basic stuff that is just wrong, and it's distractingly wrong. It just takes you out of everything, and this is ignoring all of the plot conveniences. We said Godzilla had plot conveniences.
Yeah.
Oh.
This was so much worse. They show up at the Russian space station thing to refuel. Okay, first of all, like, why would they need to do that, considering that, like, we've sent things to the moon without having to do that before, and that was the whole point of going. By the way, they somehow get to the moon in, like, hours.
Like 12 hours or
which,
something.
I get technology has improved since 1960s, 70s, whatever, but it took them 4 days, so it shouldn't take us, like, 4 hours. But anyway, so somehow they need to refuel at a Russian thingy. Okay. They get there, and, like, they're like, he has the guy go in the thing, and the Russian dude's like, okay, dude, if something goes wrong, do this, 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 and this. And the guy's like, okay. And then something goes wrong, and he does not do what the Russian guy asked him to just a second ago. And because of that, like, all this shit blows up, and, like, but again, people live, and there's all this tension for, like, 10 minutes of stuff happening, and the end result is, like, nothing has changed.
Yeah,
that was completely irrelevant. It was like, why did you do that? It doesn't add anything except just add the Russian guy to the rest of the mission, which he doesn't really do anything, so, doesn't matter. And it's just so unnecessary. And again, it was unnecessary in terms of, like, the actual, like, plot. Because again, the Russian guy told him what to do to stop the thing, and the guy did not do it.
Nope.
Like, what the hell? It's just, so many stupid
Then there was
things.
the whole thing with the bomb and stuff, and how they switched it on and off and on and off and on and off to, like, create tension and everything, and it just got so dull after. Even with the first time and stuff, it just got dull.
You know what I realized? There were a lot of countdowns in this movie too, just like Broken Arrow.
Oh my god. But Broken Arrow I felt was, like, entertaining. This was not entertaining.
That was because of John Travolta.
Well,
let's be real.
Yeah, part of it was the character performances were, like, super, like, enjoyably hokey, but part of it also was, like, there was at least, like, a plot to Broken Arrow that, like, followed a focus and stuff. And, oh, by the way, speaking of timers, they literally said at the rocket launch that they had 12 hours left. When that popped up, it said 12 hours left, and then, like, much later in the movie, again, because they launched into space, like, after less than an hour into the movie, I feel. After they launched into space, like, an hour later in the film, it shows up on screen saying, like, 17 hours left. It's like, really? Come on.
Editing.
Yeah.
Editing.
The editing, okay, this movie, this may be the worst editing I've seen in a movie, at least in these movies, for this thing. Because... like, literally, I can't think of a scene besides those, oh, we're so emotionally deep scenes. Besides those scenes, which were not earned because you didn't give a shit about any of these characters,
Nope.
It was like literally a scene could not last longer than half of a second.
No.
It was like cut, 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 cut. You could not follow anything. You couldn't see anything. And it was like the effects, like, again, like the look of the asteroid and that kind of stuff were like not that bad, but you couldn't see it because it just kept fucking cutting every goddamn half of a second. It was, and I know that like a lot of modern films kind of like to do that for action scenes or whatever, and it's annoying too, but this I felt was even worse than some of the more modern stuff I've seen. It was
because the thing
really
is,
bad.
even for like normal talking scenes, they'll do that too.
Yeah. They jump cut all the time.
Yeah, it's so...
And it's so hard to follow the conversations, and you just kind of fall asleep at some points, which is kind of sad, considering that it's supposed to be an action end-of-the-world film. You know it's pretty bad if you fall asleep.
I felt more for the characters in Independence Day, which is like a superior film to this one.
Yeah, by a decent margin. I'm honestly kind of amazed how bad this was.
Yeah.
I thought this would at least be like, because like, I'll be honest, I kind of have like a soft spot for like cheesy disaster movies. I remember I like actually kind of recently, and by kind of recently I mean like a few months ago, I looked up this like old TV special about like that I'd seen before, where somehow like enormous earthquakes start happening in the U.S. and the end result is that like the North America is split in half. So it's like, you know, completely ridiculous, right? But again, and the characters, like, it's all like forgettable or whatever. But like you see shit fall over and it's like, okay, fine, right? But it's like this. I thought this would, and again, it's, you know, it made a shitload of money, and this, I think this was the highest grossing film of the year actually.
Yeah, it was.
And at least in terms of like critics and stuff, like it wasn't rated horribly. Like it was rated better than Godzilla, like on Metacritic and stuff, right? So I thought it was just gonna be like, oh, okay, kind of stupid and dumb, but whatever, right? This like legitimately may be the worst disaster movie I have seen, which is pretty bad.
Okay, I guess here's my stake. So a long time ago, I think I watched this video that was like the saddest scenes in movies ever, and I think Armageddon was on it.
Really?
Yeah.
What scene? So, the explosion scene?
No, the one where Bruce Willis is saying goodbye to his daughter.
Mm.
So when that scene came up, I was like, this is not as sad as I thought.
No.
Like, it would be. That too. After that scene, there's still like 20 minutes of movie left.
Yeah, somehow.
And 20 minutes of him like screaming and cursing and everything.
Yeah.
Which doesn't really make you feel for the character at all. And then there was that weird montage after he clicked the button that included like some memories and stuff. And then of his daughter.
His life flashed before his eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like, they don't earn the emotional moments.
No.
They don't earn anything.
Because you have to, like, care about the characters so that, therefore, when something really bad happens, you, like, feel bad about it, right? So, it just doesn't work.
No.
We were introduced to these characters by having Bruce Willis try to shoot this guy for, like, hooking up with his daughter.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Why should we care about these people? They're fucking crazy.
Yeah.
And again, like,
basically.
after, you know, and it's all, oh, here's all the crew or whatever, it, like, the way that they introduce them is that they're all doing, like, weird, like, shit, right? Like, this guy's at, like, a strip club, this guy's gambling, this dude's, like, running from the cops or something. It's like, why should we care about these people? Why should we feel bad, you know, when things bad happen? Why should we feel sympathy? You don't.
And then the tone would change, like, completely, too.
I think I made a comment at some point. I was like, what tone? There is no tone.
Yeah. And then, then also with that, the music, like, randomly changes from, like...
Yeah.
It's just all over the place, too. It's not quite as bad as, like, The Saint, but it's pretty bad.
Oh my god.
Anything can beat The Saint.
No, I'll be amazed if anything does, but you never know.
You never know.
I mean, we never expected that Godzilla would have a more coherent plot.
Yeah, I never would have guessed that.
Like, so soon after watching it, too.
Yeah.
It's like one movie in between, and then it's like, wow, Godzilla is actually a better movie
Yeah.
somehow.
Oh, Jesus. This was... Wow.
This was an experience. And not a good one.
Godzilla and Armageddon definitely are tied for scientific accuracy, I think.
And one of them has a giant radioactive lizard in it.
Yeah, exactly.
And somehow this one is just as wrong. If not, honestly, I would almost argue more wrong. Because at least Godzilla understood gravity.
Yeah. Hashtag save the earthworms.
Then again, they didn't understand how size works, or how a Godzilla can be a ninja apparently, but so I guess they have different issues.
Reproduction.
But, yeah, he is pregnant.
He is pregnant and gave birth to like hundreds of hard shell eggs. Okay.
In a couple hours.
All right.
That hatch in a couple hours too.
Yeah.
Whatever.
All right.
Both of these movies suck.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, basically.
And somehow
the saving grace between these 3 months.
What even is... I mean, I know what the next 2 movies are, but like... Oh, after that, okay. The next 2 movies after this, they should... I hate saying this, but they should be better.
Don't say it.
I know one in the latter half after this will be pretty good because the
last 3 are all actually rated quite well, which I know doesn't mean everything, because honestly looking at one of them I have a feeling that like it's good. I'm not gonna like it, but still, so whatever. Don't watch this movie. I mean, you might already have probably, but
if you haven't, don't bother.
Literally,
if you want
a
hokey disaster movie, just go watch Twister. Even
no,
go watch Twister.
No, there's plenty of natural disaster documentaries that you can watch that had better editing skills.
No. Go on YouTube, type in "The Universe 10 Ways to Destroy the Earth" and watch that. Way more entertaining, and it's an actual scientific documentary, so you'll learn something. There you go.
I watched that. I like that one too.
We'll try to link it if we can.
Well, I'm not going to remember to do
that.
No.
Well, I said to link it, so you're going to link it.
No promise.
It was... But Valen could just cut it out of the video.
I have the power.
Okay. Whatevs. So, is that it?
Yeah.
Because I have to kind of, like, say goodbye to the audience for 50 movies.
Yes.
Okay. So, this is the end of my stint for now. But when I come back, there will be another childhood trauma ahead, so look forward to that. But I passed the baton.
It'll be like Sonic.
Oh my god.
Literally nobody's gonna get what I'm talking about until like that movie comes up, probably. Anyway. Okay. But yeah.
Yep, I will be taking on the movies from now on, which... I am not looking forward to the first movie that I'm going to have to do this for.
I guess you'll find that out next time.
Mm-hmm.
Won't we all?
Yeah.
Bye.
Goodbye.